welcome back to the channel. I'm not trying to grow a beard. My electric razor has run out of battery. I'm aware I look like partially homeless. So yeah, we're gonna do a big Q&A today. I'm also gonna put up some of the drives I hit on driving range last week before lockdown happened. So it's gonna be, you know, irons, drivers, bits and pieces. Some of flower shots as well from that range session as well, just like added on just to make it a bit more interesting, just so you're not like staring at my face the whole time, because I'm aware that may not be that interesting. Firstly, before we get into this, what are the rules where you're at the moment? Obviously we're in lockdown. The rules are going to be for the next, at least the next like 3 weeks, that we're not going to be able to play golf, and then they're possibly taking it back to a tiered system where we may be able to play golf, we may not, we don't know yet. I know Wales are just coming out today, so you're able to play. What's it like in Ireland? And if you're from America, I know I've got a few like viewers in America, so what are the rules over there at the moment? Are you able to play? It seems like golf is just going ahead, it's normal out there at the moment. And I watched a PGA Tour event last night and there was a few like people in the crowd, so they're introducing crowds again, I don't know. So what are the rules where you are? And let's get into this. Put this out on Instagram yesterday, so I'm gonna pretty much try and get through all of these. There's some good ones. Joshua E, what's your future dream? What is the future dream? That's quite a deep question to start with, isn't it? The future dream is to have an animal rescue center, because I'm like probably into all that kind of stuff. So my girlfriend works at the Blue Cross, and over the last like 3 years we've fostered, I think it's like 20 dogs. So we look after them for a few months while they're in shelter until they get homed, until they find like forever homes, I think the word is that they use. And then recently, over the last year, you've probably seen Bumble, the big American Staffy cross bull breed, and we've had Bumble now for the last sort of like year. SGXMMXLL. Do you reckon, I thought the names would be like easier to read on Instagram, but maybe not. Do you reckon you can get to the European Tour? Well, I don't know. It's not even worth sort of discussing at this point, because I'm literally so far away. I just don't think it's wise to put it out there. Like, I'm gonna try my best and keep improving, and let's just see where it gets. And I know some people will be like, oh, you should, you know, you should like say you're gonna make it, because then, you know, it's like that book, isn't it? What's that book called? The Secret. So yeah, I'm not like that into that. Like, it seems like the premise of that book is, if you think about it enough, it will like magically turn into reality, but sort of takes away the other stuff that you gotta do. ma.josh, how to break par. Instead of answering that, because it's like you could go so bored of that, I think what I want to do with the channel is introduce some like coaching stuff, because I've learned quite a bit from like the people that I've been around, and I know I can get their information on the channel as well when I'm playing with them. So as well as this playing series that I've got going along, I want to also do a bit of coaching stuff as well. Seymour James, Leon and Konig. I always say it is actually Konig, I think, but just everyone call him Konig because it really pisses him off. Do you know what the best way to answer this? I need to just get it in a match. I need to get this match going. I know a lot of you have asked for this match, so I'm going to try and sort it out next year. As soon as Konig's back from South Africa and Leon is back from Spain, hopefully we can go out there together. We'll get it sorted. Jordan Murray 1987, will YouTube fund your time in Spain, or you need to get a job out there? Believe it or not, like my YouTube earnings over the last few months have actually gone up to a point where I could like comfortably live off them. Also do a bit of online coaching, so that helps as well. And then I've also got a few people I'm speaking to, a few companies in the pipeline for next year that I'll be working with, which will give me enough of a buffer to go out there pretty much stress-free and practice and play. Chris Baker, what would you say are the key gym exercises for increasing club head speed? So actual exercises in the gym. There was one exercise, it would be just squats. If there were two, I'd say deadlifts and squats. And if there are three, some sort of pressing movement. I think the most important muscle is, or muscle group is down in the lower half, especially your glutes. You could probably get quite a long way by just having a decent program where you're deadlifting, squatting, pressing, rowing, just doing those exercises and doing them like 3 times a week, and just slowly increasing the volume and the weight over time and getting stronger. You put a bit of muscle on, get stronger, and you'll be in a good position to hit the golf ball further at that point. Matty P83, what camera are you using? What editing app to use? So I use this Sony camera, which is the, I'm actually having to look at it. It's like, I think it's called like an ADX 53, and it's about like £600. And editing app, so I use the Adobe suite. So you get Adobe Premiere Pro, you get Photoshop and Lightroom for 20 quid a month. And yeah, it's just quality stuff. Dan Mitz, any caravan trips planned? So the plan is to go down to Spain in January, depending on whether we can actually go. I'm not sure at the moment. Now Flower wants to go down as well, and Flower has kitted out his caravan, so it's like, it is livable. So yeah, we're probably gonna, if the plan goes ahead, drive down together at least, so we can stop off like 3 times on the way down, maybe stop off at a few places in Europe on the way, and get down there. I'll probably look for accommodation, but I think Flower's just gonna go to Flower's gonna be like a gypsy, basically, in the trailer park. Tom Gunning, what handicap did you turn pro off? How was your junior golf club experiences? Yes, I turned pro off 1 point something, and I was like 18, 19 to do the PGA. Junior golf club experience, so I grew up playing at Exeter Golf and Country Club, and we had like a really good junior team. I think the highest junior in the team was 4 handicap, and we had down to like +1 or +2 back 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when that was like a low handicap. Now it's like +4, +5, +6. The good thing about the place, obviously, it was the only golf club like in Exeter, so there was a big junior section. We had like swimming pools, tennis courts, table tennis, obviously golf, snooker. We had like everything. So it used to be just like go down there, spend the day there with everyone, and it was decent. Ricky Bansell. Best ways to increase clubhead speed. So 3 things. Mobility, so work on your mobility, whether you want to do some actually stretching or some mobility like stretching through movement. Get stronger, increase your muscle mass, do a strength training program, just put a bit of muscle on, get stronger. And then do overspeed training, so swing a lighter object than your golf club, faster than you'd normally be able to swing a golf club. Those 3 things. Mark Sheehan, when you first turn pro, were you good enough to play the tournaments Liam plays now? Nah, not really. When I first turned pro, obviously, doing my PGA and stuff, I wasn't as open to learning at that point. I didn't find a coach. I didn't, find good players and learn from them. I tried to sort of do it on my own, and it's just not the way to go. I've learned so much in the last year from playing with good players and getting out and competing, and also finding a good coach, that my game's improved in the last year more than it improved over, the space of years before. So no, not at that point. James Holloway, 44. Favorite thing about filming YouTube videos? I think sometimes it's just seeing how people respond to them. Like the one that me and Flower did the other day, where, the 18 majors one. That was something that we've not really done on the channel before. And just seeing the reaction, within the first 10 minutes of putting it up, seeing how many people like it, gives you a bit of a buzz. So, and actually the filming of that stuff, because it's so ridiculous. Leave a comment below, do you want to see more of those mockumentaries? Because there's definitely space to do a few more. Owen Jenkinson, favorite film? I'd say one of my favorite films that stands out over time, and I always bring it up, is Good Will Hunting, with Matt Damon when he was young, and Robin Williams and Ben Affleck. That's just a great film. Recently, one film I watched recently that's good on Netflix is called Calm with Horses. I think it's called Calm with Horses. Something along the lines of Calm with Horses on Netflix at the moment. That is decent as well. It's a bit dark, but it's good. Henry Holden, any advice when making big swing changes over the winter? So this is quite a good one. I would say, if you're making big swing changes, this is what I've learned, don't worry about the level of your golf. So try and get away from the golf course for the minute. Your focus has to be 100% on trying to change your movement patterns. So that takes quite a lot of work to change something that you've done probably naturally for quite a while. So if you've been swinging a certain way, trying to get your body to move naturally in a completely different way is going to take quite a lot of time. And what I've found that works really well recently, which I spoke about in the last video, was exaggerating the moves and getting away from golf. So if you're trying to, so for instance, I get this way and this way. So my exaggerated move, I'm trying to get this way and this way. And if you exaggerate that long enough, you don't have to have a golf ball, you can just swing clubs in the back garden, or you can actually do it in your living room where you're just doing dry drills where, you're just swinging your hands and you're making the movements, still training your body to move in a different way. So just try and do that as much as possible. Then after a month of you doing that, you should be well on your way to have actually made the changes you want to make. Pula Rusi, have you given any thought to play like Bryson, since you obviously have the speed? So my speed is I don't know, it's probably down. Like I was swinging around like 123, 124 on the golf course before I went to Spain last year. Then, as you know, I lost quite a lot of weight in Spain and through lockdown from not being able to train. It's taken the last like 2-3 months, I've gotten back the weight. I'm like up to around 90 kilos now. I was down to like 83. I lost so much weight. So my speed's definitely almost up there. And now gyms are shut. That kind of puts a halt to it. But yeah, my speeds aren't near Bryson. If I probably need to get an extra, I don't know, he's gone crazy now, and I think my plan is over the next year to at least put on another 10 miles an hour to try and get to that 130 mark with a good action. Freddie, how are you practicing with current lockdown at the moment? So I am doing exactly what I said, and to be honest, it's come at not that much of a bad time, like personally, in terms of like practice, just because I am trying to make a change at the moment, and I'm trying to make the next month or two just about these swing changes that I feel like need to happen in order for me to have a more consistent action. So at the moment, my practice is in the garden, swinging a golf club, making exaggerated moves and checking that I'm doing the right things and trying to get somewhat used to that feeling, and then doing dry drills in here. So that's literally it. Max Allen, are you doing anything to improve the mental side of your game? Seems crucial. Yeah, so I'm speaking to a sports psychologist. I've only spoke to him once. He specialises, I think, in football goalies, but he's got a few other people he works with as well. And we've only just started the relationship, so we're going to have a few more conversations. I'm actually need to speak to him soon, and I'll try and introduce that to the channel as well. Master and None podcast. What's the hardest part about getting faster swing speeds? I think the hardest part really is the gym work, because the swing stick stuff, the overspeed training, that's not actually that hard, and you can do that in quite a short period of time and it can be quite effective. But going to the gym, putting in a 60 to 90 minute training session 4 times a week, however many days you train, doing that consistently and eating enough to be in a caloric surplus so you can actually make gains and continue to increase your strength and increase your muscle without overtraining, etc. That is a massive effort and commitment. So that's got to be the hardest bit. Pierce, diet advice for golfers. I'll give you like a snippet of something that I find quite helpful. So if you've got a morning round, don't load up too hard on stuff that's going to be hard for your body to digest. So like really heavy meat, like red meat, sausages, whatever, that's probably not the best thing to have prior to the morning. So a big fry up is generally very nice, but probably not the most beneficial thing for actually having to be in the best physical state. So if I'm going off early and have no time at all, going to the shop and getting a wrap which is filled with like meat and veggies and stuff, I found that really good, and then just snacking on bananas or maybe another wrap throughout the round. So there's nothing really heavy and starchy, quite light, easy to digest, and that ensures that your blood sugars stay at a fairly like level rate. That's the key, because you don't want your blood sugar doing this, because then you feel like the peaks and troughs in your energy. Jaffa Bell, is next year a defining year? If pouring comps, will you push your YouTube onto an earner? No, I wouldn't say next year was the defining year. I'd say I'm only like a year into actually trying to get better at golf, and I feel like if you just try for 2 years when you've got another 10 years ahead of you, you've not really done all you can. So it may be defining in a way that if I had an absolutely awful year and I'd felt deflated at the end of the year and like there was no point, then yeah, maybe at that point. But as long as there's continuous improvement and you're getting that glimmer of hope, then it's definitely reason to carry on. Jack Clow 78, what's the timeline of your handicap over the years since you started playing? I started when I was 12. I got to 4 at 14. I actually had a really good start in golf. I was playing football before golf, and I decided to give up football to focus on golf. From the first couple years of me playing golf, I had a lot of tuition, I practiced a lot, and I did all the right things. Unfortunately, from that age, I stopped seeing a coach, so I didn't have a coach. I didn't really have many lessons. Really, over the next 2 years, I only got down to 2, I think, at 16. From like a very strong start to somewhat like disappointing like continuation of the amateur career, and then obviously won when I was like 18, 19. James Robinson Golf, how do you feel knowing I outdrove you once? I can't remember that, mate. Adam McCaster, how best to stop a flip. Biggest thing that I've learned from flipping is that there's a reason that you flip it. If you put your body into really good positions throughout the golf swing, you won't need to flip it. The reason you do flip it generally is because you've got further away from the ball and you have to release the hands or chuck it, or you're in like a very, you're not in a great position on the way down, and you need to flip it to get club on ball. I wouldn't see it as, right, I'm trying to stop the flip, just focusing mainly on the actual flip. I would take a step back, look at the reasons and things that are causing a flip, and then change them, and the flip will take care of itself. Jack F.7, what's your opinions on gyms being shut currently? Well, if there's like a national lockdown where they're trying to actually lock people down over a short period and keep everything really strict, then obviously it makes sense. But if there is, like recently in England, there was a tiered system, and in one of the tiers there were gyms being shut as one of the rules. I don't really believe in that, because I think the guy that come out from Liverpool said that gyms were responsible for 1 to 2% of cases of COVID, yet schools were responsible for like 30%. Obviously schools are, vitally important, but so are gyms, like for physical and mental health. And I found that gyms actually go to really good measures to make them a safe environment. So I don't really agree with them being shut, to be honest. That's probably gonna cause a few arguments. Josh Lawrence, are you considering any changes in the bag for next year, or are you happy? Yes, I am actually, and you're gonna see that soon. Alfie Armstrong, what do you think DeChambeau's stack is? That's a question for you guys. Do you think DeChambeau is taking any substances, any illegal substances? I personally don't think he is. Like looking at his physique and how it's changed, everyone's like, oh, DeChambeau's put on 30-40 pounds of muscle, which even if you were on something, probably wouldn't be possible in that time frame anyway. And the reality is he's probably put on about 10 pounds of muscle, like maximum, quite a lot of water, and then quite a lot of fat. If you actually look at the guy and you get side on views, he's carrying a bit of timber. So he just looks like a guy that has committed himself to training and consuming calories, albeit Domino's stuffed crust. Luca van de Covering, how is muscle gaining going? So yeah, put on about 7 kilos of body weight over like 2 to 3 months since being able to train again. Obviously that is a bit of fat and a bit of water, but I literally don't care. I just want to feel a bit bigger again and stronger. And yeah, it was going really well. Started training with one of my mates who's competed in bodybuilding before. He's just like a genetic freak, massive. And he trains like very hard. So training with him and being consistent and eating well, I actually put on quite a lot of size, like quite quick. So it was going well. Now it's Jackson Hall. Any comps lined up? So no comps lined up. The next comp I'm playing, if all goes to plan, is going to be some Gecko Tour events in Spain. Probably not in January, probably in February and March, ready for next year. Fry.Eddie, how do you prepare for tournaments? Do you work on the range or play on the course? One of my biggest faults this year was that I didn't play enough golf, and I just did work on the range. I feel like you've got to be clever with the way that you go about practice and the way like you plan out your schedule of practice, the like swing change bit, swing maintenance, actually playing golf against people, being competitive, and then playing tournaments. You need to work out what your best formula is. Mine definitely isn't hitting golf balls in a driving range, turning up to a practice round and then playing a tournament. Like next year it's gonna be, I'm joining a club, I'm gonna be a club. Sounds like I'm joining like Mensa or something. No, I'm joining a club, a golf club. I would never be accepted into Mensa. I'm joining a golf club and I'll be playing a lot of golf. Jimmy Burgess, I'm guessing you're from the United States of America. What golf pants do you wear? What pants do I wear? At the moment I've been wearing my Travis pants this year, and I got some Topman chinos which I wear sometimes as well, which actually fit well. But big changes for next year. Keep your eyes peeled. Life Golf, what advice would you give to a golfer starting the YouTube? Right, because there's quite a lot of people doing it now and quite a lot of people doing it quite well, I would say invest in some decent equipment, find exactly what you want to do, and don't worry about people's opinions, because it can be crippling at first, worrying about like how people will perceive you or what your mates will think when you're like talking to a camera. So invest in equipment, find out what you want to do and just do it, all right? Just don't f about. Sam Hoyle, biggest lesson learned so far on Road to Q School. So that sort of segues to another video which I'm going to do over the next few days. I feel like I've learned quite a bit from some really good sources this year, and as I was saying, I want to make this channel a bit more community, like a place where you can actually learn something about golf, not just see someone hacking it about. So I want to make a video over the next few days about the best things that I've learned. So that is coming soon. Tom Hunt, what's your favourite course you've ever played? I think purely now it's Royal Bled in Slovenia. Royal Bled. I've got a few videos of it on the channel a few years ago when I went over there with a few other guys, Average Golfer being one of them. Mate, that place is like ridiculous, and I think the guy wants to get me and Andy back next year. So if I can do that with the better production, better golf and stuff, honestly that content is going to be unreal. Right, final one. Your Golf Journey 25, best piece of putting advice you ever got. Do you know what, putting's probably one of the areas of the game that's not been delved into yet, like enough. I've had a putting lesson with Ryan, I've had a help with Leon as well, so both the Frickers have helped me with putting and have definitely moved in the right direction. I feel like there's a lot more to learn that I can then bring you guys as well, so that's coming. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you've got something out of this. As I said, direction with the channel for next year, want to get lots of good golf and also make it a bit more of a community, so some more coaching stuff as well, and there's big changes in a few things coming up, so keep your eyes peeled. I've got to finish my millionaire shortbread that I've been making today. That's been working very hard, and yeah, see you soon.